Smartphone, this will be a fun one. Now, when we did that interview, by the way, if you ever watched that video back, I'd had about 2 hours sleep and I was really hungover. So, I couldn't really go into a great amount of detail in that interview. But we'll go into a bit more detail about it here, because people are always kind of like commenting, going, well, a smartphone can do this, a smartphone can do that, blah, blah, blah. It's all just completely irrelevant, okay? It's all to do with valuing your time, okay? So if you remember the two examples I gave, let's just put a monetary value on your time and assume you spend a certain amount of time on your smartphone per day on chat systems, on social media, talking to people you don't really know about shit that doesn't really matter, right? Come on, I've been there as well. I used to have a BlackBerry. I got rid of it March 2013. And man, like when I was in the business, I was a slave to that BlackBerry. Like back when I was a professional trader, we had them in 2000. In fact, on the Goldman Sachs training program in New York in 2000, BlackBerry was just completely new. And it wasn't a mobile phone, it was like a little pager with a wheel on the side. And our analyst program was a test case. And we were giving them for the whole summer. And every month we had to like fill out forms and reports about our consumer experience. Is it good for business, blah, blah, blah. So I was a slave to that BlackBerry, man, for a good 13 years. And then I just gave it up. Because I just had an epiphany when I was in Thailand. I switched off my phone for a week. And I found myself sitting on the beach and at bars just coming up with unbelievable ideas. And I was like, okay, well, if I'm detached for a week and that happens, what will happen if I'm detached for good? So I tested it for a couple of months. And what happened? The first video series goes online for my company. Millions of dollars. That would never have got done if I was just literally a slave to my phone. And you guys would never have got it if I didn't give up my BlackBerry. Giving up your smartphone makes the world a better place. So let's put a monetary value on it. $100 an hour, and you spend an hour a day on the phone. Talking shit that doesn't matter to people you don't really care about. And by the way, don't really care about you. 36.5 grand a year. What if you're rich? What if you make a grand an hour? You spend an hour, it's 365 grand a year. There's obviously a point where a smartphone, because of its addictive nature and all of the ways that people can contact you, it might not just be you, it's making yourself available. Because what you're actually doing on all these chat systems is you're saying to the whole world, I'm available for free. And you are allowed to abuse my time. You can contact me 24 hours a day, whenever you want, because I value my time at 0. And you value my time at 0. That's what you're telling the whole world. So, how do you get rid of that? So if you want to break this cycle, you've just got to go cold turkey. You just can't do any. There's no such thing here as owning a smartphone and deleting all apps. If you delete a smartphone, you just get rid of the smartphone, okay? So try it for a month or two. This is what I've got. It's a ZTE, Chinese model. My wife bought it last time she went to China. She bought a whole bunch of them. And we just keep them in the drawer. But in Singapore, I don't have a Singapore SIM card. I have a UK SIM card. Why? Because it costs people money to send me a message. So if you get a dumb phone, get yourself, if you can, a SIM card that's outside of Europe. because it'll cost people $2.50 to send you a message. And all those people who were on chat systems before, constantly badgering the shit out of you, talking about stuff that doesn't matter, about nothing. It now costs them $2.50 to send you a message. What do you think's going to happen? You're going to find out pretty quickly who these people are. The funniest thing is like I've still got friends who send me a text and they'll send me like 10 texts in a row because on their phone, they think they're chatting to me. And they get their phone bill like a month later and it's like $180.
They use WhatsApp then?
No. They think they're on a chat system, but they're SMSing me at $2.50 per message, right? What do you think happens a few months down the line? Whenever they send you a message, they just say what they want to say in one message. You're basically telling them, if you want to contact me, it costs you. So when you send me a message, it better be good. It better be important. If it's not, it's going to cost you. So you're basically telling everyone in the world, my time costs money. So you're valuing your time. And all these people just disappear. I was really extreme in 2014. I bought one of these phones. Can't remember what model it was, but it only stored 50 numbers. Only 50 numbers. And when I was in bars and restaurants around the world, and people were like, oh, can we swap numbers? I was like, okay, I have to tell you something. My phone only stores 50 numbers. And I'm going to have to make a decision now whether you are stronger than the weakest person in my phone. And I did this for about a year. And you know what? People were just not offended. I was like, listen, I'm a busy guy. I only have 50 people in my phone. And if you're not stronger than the weakest person in my phone, you don't get in. And generally speaking, people were just not offended. They were like, oh, right, okay, well, am I stronger than the weakest person in your phone? No. And I just did it really to the extreme, just to see how it went. And the productivity went off the scale. Off the scale. Because you just don't waste your time with bullshit anymore. In the modern day, like the younger generation who are kind of like addicted to smartphones, it's 90% of their daily bullshit. And if you just eliminate it, you're free. It's just a very, very simple choice to make. It's very obvious when you look at it, just your messages that you get per day, that 99% of your discussions are just completely useless. They don't add value to your life. They don't make you wealthier. The other person engaging on the other side, they're not bettering their life in any way. It's pointless. So you basically got to train your network not to waste your time. Just train them that you're not contactable for random chats. If they want to do that, it'll cost them. Also, social media. You know, if you've got a desktop or a laptop, okay, just schedule the time on a Friday and go into your social media and look at your messages and get back to people and get back to messages that mean something. If it doesn't mean anything, you don't know the person or you don't know them very well, whatever, just don't reply. Complete waste of time. Just schedule the time per week to just deal with that stuff on your desktop or your laptop. You don't need a phone to do that. Greeting messages. So someone calls you, your phone's off. What's your greeting message? Well, it should actually put people off leaving you a message. I've had the same one for 4 years, maybe almost 5 years. And I don't even say my name. I just go, hi, I'm traveling on business at the moment, and I'm in various different international time zones. So it might be difficult for me to get back to you. Please leave a message, and I'll try to get back to you within 1 week. I can't remember the last time someone left me a message. Has it had a negative impact on my life? No. I've completely eliminated messages. It's only had a positive impact. So cold turkey, in terms of freedom. It's the only choice if you really want to do it, if you really want to give it a go. You can't delete all apps and have a smartphone. It's pointless because you're basically a recovering heroin junkie and you're walking around with heroin in your pocket. You won't believe how productive you become. You'll just be able to schedule everything more efficiently, prioritize. Your social life actually becomes better as well, and your family life. Because when you go to bars and restaurants, you are the example and you're setting the example. So you go to bars and restaurants and people are just sitting around in your group staring at their phone. Well, when you go out, you're not doing it and you're sitting there. And if they're all doing it, well, they're the person who's being rude. So you set the example. And then they have to give you the time. They have to speak to you. They have to put down their phone. And in family life as well. If you've got kids, if you've got teenage kids or whatever, if you do it yourself as the parent, you set the example of what's socially acceptable and what's not. And they'll get into the good habit of not staring at their phone for no reason for the whole of the meal when you're out with another family. It's a very, very bad habit. It's, to me, socially unacceptable. Like, I'm not going to waste my time going out with people for dinners and they stare at their phone the whole night while I'm there. Fuck you. I'm getting up and walking out of the restaurant. My time's too expensive. So that was smartphones. Maybe not as controversial as other things.